Hi, everyone. So, my name is Asia Barbie. I am the Senior Coordinator for Workforce Development here at Braven with Spelman College. And I am joined here by two of our Accelerator team members, Erika and Belinda. And we are going to have a conversation about being a first generation college student. I want to ask you guys, I'm not a first generation college student myself, but I am a first generation HBU student. And so I just wanted to know, what is your motivation to attend a college?
I would say my motivation to attend college was from a Spelman alum. She was my cheerleading coach and turned mentor.
Hmm.
She was all that I knew of a college graduate, if you will. So no one went to college, even from family members. No one actually went through middle school and high school too. And so there were a lot of firsts for my particular generation. And that particular lady, she allowed me to know that my possibilities were endless and to be able to make sure that I had the same opportunities of everyone else. And so I did a straight one common application to be able to go to multiple schools. But then I will say finances was a factor for me. And so it was the hurdle of getting over the confidence that I can do this, but also I can get in, but how do I stay in? How do I actually graduate as well? But with that particular motivation, the networking and the community support was what fueled me to continue and to release the barriers that I knew that were going to come with it long term.
Yeah, that's really impactful. Thank you. What about you, Belinda?
Yeah, my motivation started back in middle school. So I was a part of a women's leadership summit thing for young women. I went to mostly predominantly black schools, so they had different leadership opportunities. And so I remember we had a session about career and like what we want to be when we grow up and mentorship. And a lot of the women that were heading that event kind of mentored us in a way, was egging us on about college. And I didn't have that representation at home. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. I need to continue this path. And so I think that mentorship program I did in middle school kind of forfeited more desire into going to school and trying new things.
Yeah, wow, I love that.
Mhm.
So I do want to ask you guys, what is a legacy that you see yourself as a result of obtaining your Spelman College degree?
I would say my legacy is actually starting the start of a legacy itself, not just going to college, but using academia as life and living. I learned so much about myself, found my own identity outside of where I grew up, who I was connected to, even for my personal self as religion aspect as well. And so college for me was a a place for me to learn Erica. And then that then open up the doors and opportunities for like what does purpose look like, how then do I not just build up a resume just to say that I've done something or to get another title for a job or to even chase money because I came from a low income impoverished home. And so I was like, I need to make a coin, but there is more to life than just making money.
Yeah.
And so where can I see myself truly excelling, but then also how do I be that person for the outliers of students like myself. So coming from multiple firsts in my family, being able to say, hey, there's opportunities out there, but you have to put your foot forward to be able to get them. But also just having the confidence in me to be able to do so, but allowing myself to know that once I get over the hump, don't leave those behind. And so going back to help, but also allowing people to know that you have to tend to all parts of you as you are navigating college and not just the academia portion. What is your career look like from the onset of not just another job opportunity, but where do you see yourself growing in those opportunities? What does professional development look like? Do you stay there just to make the check, or do you stay there to be able to build yourself up professionally too? What does consistency look like for your career path, but also what is community extracurricular activities and how do you grow as your holistic perspective, not just I can make great grades, but if I don't have any memories and experiences connected to it, then was my college experience a waste? Because we want to tend to every part, not just the perfected A student, but who am I and what does legacy look like from a shift and change from when I first walked in the doors to?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's definitely holistic.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my legacy and desire for that is being an open door.
Hmm.
Nice.
Um, Only because like it felt like I had to barge through so many doors on my own, and I have a key. And
Mm-hmm.
so now that I'm viewing going to college as a key of my own, I can open more doors for other people, and I like to be a resource. I like to kind of be a voice for those who kind of relate to my story. Coming from an immigrant background, my parents, came to the United States and starting afresh, so college wasn't necessarily their norm. So like being a door for other students who also come from similar backgrounds too is pretty nice.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about Braven is our leaders emerge from everywhere.
Yes.
So I want to ask, what barriers did you face as a first generation college student?
I faced the typical financial barriers. I had to sit out a semester, but one thing that I faced that I was not expecting was my family's perception of me. So I then became the, oh, you're better than us, you're this, you're that, especially going to the number one HBCU and going to college at the same time. That was a complete shift. And so not only did I do something that was different, but I went to a top school that was different as well. And so having to face who they knew who I was to be, but also who I knew that I was becoming, what that process and that transition looked like. So I had to teach them and help them relearn Erika in this new season. And even when going home, having to say, hey, this is who I am. Can you come along with the ride with me? And this is what I can offer as well. Not that I am better, but I'm a better Erika, not better than my family as a whole. And so having to navigate that um, surprise of a barrier, because the typical, you may not have all the finances, you may not have the full support, went through a variety of things even within myself mental health wise as well, but that was the aha moment of, wait, the same way that you are changing, they are on the outside looking in. So having to brace yourself of what that looks like, but then also going back home and navigating the changes that are always occurring too. And so really just honing in the fact that not only are you changing, but everybody else is around too. So you're playing now a different role and what that looks like from your family structure, and how do they either tend to it, accept it, and what insecurities does that bring up for your generational bloodline as well.
Yeah. Powerful.
Well, I think what was the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. What barriers did you face as a first
Oh,
generation?
yes. So a lot of what I've noticed for me was I knew how to be a good student. Like I knew how to turn in grades, I knew how to study, all those things, cool. But a lot of the barriers that I've learned is like the social capital side of things.
Yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
what does it mean to go to different events? What does it mean to network and meet different people? What does study abroad look like? What's an internship? Like building skills beyond just like I did my grades, I'm doing good, I got a good GPA, but like building social capital and I guess the nuance of being a young professional for the first time was the biggest barrier for me.
Yeah,
I would
for
even
sure.
say like resources. There was a couple years where I had to do assignments on my notes on my phone before iPhones were like as big as they are, just so that I can still work in my dorm and then send it to email to be able to go to the computer lab. Those were unexpected. I would do those things just out of, hey, I got to get it done. I have a paper to turn in. And people are trying to figure out, why did you do it like that? Well, I can't just call up somebody and say, hey, can you get me a laptop when you're already using your expenses to be able to pay for food, housing, and all the things. Thankfully, I did have grandparents to be able to help in that regard. But at some point, you're just like, well, what can I do for me too?
Yeah.
And so that was a barrier that occurred as well. But I will say now I provide those informal resources for people too, because a laptop seems like the minimum thing for college, but everybody doesn't have those minimum necessities as well.
Yeah. And that's important because I think like at the end of college, like you're gonna get your degree. Like that's you finish, you get your degree, but you have to do the other things like you were saying, like social capital and networking, because that would brings the whole college experience together.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give future first gen students?
There's so much to say. I think the thing that comes to mind for future first gen is to, I guess, don't limit yourself to thinking that because you don't know everything at once that you can't do everything. Obviously, don't burn out, but don't feel limited because you don't know. So for me, I asked a lot of questions. I think I probably switched my major like twice,
Mm-hmm.
considering minors. Like I was in everybody's department. I was in the career center. I just put myself out there. So like the point of being an undergrad is to support you as a student and to support your journey, and that's the perfect bubble to grow and develop in that way. So I think the biggest thing is to not limit yourself, but also just be curious, go to events, talk to people, and then you'll find your way that way.
Yeah.
I would definitely say the path itself is going to be hard, whether you stay where you are or whether you're going to move forward, but you have to choose your heart, but choosing the tunnel in which the end results are going to be expected. And so you can keep going and go through graduation, get the career development that you need and the community networking, or you can stay where you are now and with the family generations, how you've always been, and then struggle that way too. Either way it go, it's going to be some type of barrier, some type of challenge, but which one are we forward thinking in with that growth mindset? But then the main thing too is being confident in what you have works and what you have to offer is what is necessary for that particular school. But also what is necessary for that demographic of people, because just because somebody went, their parents or their guardians went to college before you doesn't mean that you don't have something to offer to them. And so really relying on that community network, because they have a different type of heart. They have to continue a legacy versus you building one, and allowing them to know that even those that come up behind you are going to have or pave a different type of legacy than you as well. But it's the domino effects to be able to keep on going for the hard way, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This was such a great conversation. Thank you guys so much for sitting down with us and just talking about your experience as a first gen student, and of course just like giving the advice to you guys.
Thank you.